Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. That's what I'm saying. You know, is it snowing outside? Everybody is frightened of the snow, you know. Don't worry about the snow. Snow will take care of itself. But most of the people, they really worried. Yeah. But people on Ed Brown shows out worried about that now. You guess who we have here? This is commentary. We're going to talk about a lot of things. You know, all these different things that are happening, you know, in Russia and over there in Israel and Kuwait and all the countries in Africa and all tornadoes and all that and over in the South Sea Islands. Hey, it's going to be something. Anyway, you can't do anything about it, so sit back, enjoy yourself. And we have Camara Richmond here. You know, this is the young lady has brought outstanding special Michael Braxton, the Foreign Service officer. He's going to be here. And you know what? We're going to talk about this Israel visit. We're going to talk about the speech. We're going to talk about the people that invited him. All of this is coming up this month. And we're going to talk about, you know, they talk about civilization and everything. And right there in Russia, what they get, the number 2 man or the number 1 man in the future. Well, all of that. We're going to have Michael here. You know how Michael is. He knows all about it. You know, he's been involved in the Foreign Service for many, many years. And that's one of the guests here of Mrs. Richmond here. Mrs. Richmond, now some of you can recall, Mrs. Richmond has been through a lot. And I really like to thank her for and her mother, Joan, for all the participation that they made to the Ed Brown Show during 2014. And they brought outstanding guests. All of these guests that you talk about, they meet each other, they come back, we want them back, and all of that. So really, Camara Richmond has done a beautiful job. You know, the things that she had to overcome, those are the things that I try to tell people. You know, there's nothing out there that you have to fear. You know, all you have to do is believe in God, and you can do it. And she's a shining example. She's been volunteering here in 2014. She's starting in 2015. She got some outstanding guests coming here. So, Camara, tell me, give us a little background on how you got involved with the Ed Brown Show. Then you got involved with radio first, then the television. You moving on up.
Well, thank you, Mr. Brown. You are so supportive, and I really appreciate you giving me recognition every week. I really appreciate that. So it makes me feel good, like I'm really doing my job for you.
You are. You're doing
and my mother, we love
you. A beautiful daughter, you and Joan.
Yes.
See, Joan's in the background. You know, we keep her working. You know.
She's doing good. Camera, pictures,
microphones. She's making sure.
Wardrobe.
Wardrobe. Yeah, the wardrobe is where she makes sure that we are looking good. You know.
Right.
But anyway, tell us once you had the stroke and everything, take us through that, because a lot of people don't realize it takes a special person. And when I say a special person, I'm talking about Joan too, her mother, to survive something like that. And then after surviving that, they are out here volunteering to help other people. Now, you can't beat that. Tell us about it.
That's true. And I had the stroke in 2004. And well, first I'll say this. My mom has been my patient's advocate. So she's the one, she does the scheduling, she works the medication, she does all the doctors, she does all the therapy. So she is my patient's advocate. And if you don't have that, you know, it's really tough. But
well, we'll give Joan an Emmy right now.
Right. Yay! But so in 2004, I was sick a lot. And it started out in January where I had this problem with my thyroid. And later during the month, or later during the year, it was tuberculosis. It was lupus. It was all these other things going on in my body.
At the same time.
At the same time.
Right.
But what happened, I had sarcoidosis. And with that, it attacks the immune system. And so I had it in my eyes, my lungs, my legs, feet. I have it
Everything was affected.
everywhere. So it attacks your whole immune system. And it takes doctors, several doctors and several tests to say, okay, this is what you have. And so going through that to, let's see, up until about October, November, I was really getting sick, like I could barely walk. I had stopped working because I thought maybe I'll just take some time off, get myself together, go back to work in like January. But then I had that stroke. So that just
that was
just
it.
changed
And during
everything.
this time too, you were employed as a model. Too.
Well, this time I was working at Nordstrom and I was a buyer. And so
You
I
were a
worked
buyer.
for Nordstrom for about 10 years. And
Okay.
so
10
when I
years.
was 10 years. But when I was younger, you know, I taught the modeling classes.
Oh,
and
you did?
Yeah.
See, you didn't
so
tell me that
yeah,
you taught
when I was
classes
young,
for
yeah.
Nordstrom, huh?
No, well, this is just for
Your own
service.
business.
No, it wasn't my business. It's called not John Robert Powers. It's John Casablancas. One of those places where, you know, I did some classes and then I learned how to teach those classes.
Right.
So that's when I was really young.
Even you attended the classes, and then you become the teacher.
Right.
That's what you're saying. That's wonderful. You know,
Right.
the perseverance there. You know, a lot of people would give up, you know.
Right. And that's the good thing. I went to modeling school when I was like 16. And I think, especially young girls, because we're at a point now where they're not feeling very self-confident, they're being bullied. And so something like that, you know, really helps. So it's something I would suggest for other young girls to do. Not everyone can afford it, but
But that's something that you can strive for.
So you can
and the
strive
field,
for,
that field
right.
is open too, because
It is.
that's the thing that I look at when I see the different models, the different commercials and all. Always look
Right.
at to make sure that they're integrated. You know,
Right.
You know,
Right.
and that's an avenue that the young ladies and young men really can get into the model. And I like to see more of that. You know, the
Right.
representation of minorities in the modeling, because what they're doing, they're using them to sell things, and it's a positive thing for them because
Right.
it's positive because they're reaching another segment of the community when they have
Right.
minorities in there too. And some of them are aware of that. That's why if they have 5 people there, they make sure it has some minorities pushing their
Yeah.
product.
You have to, because and when we talk about young girls, they see the models, they you know, see them on the runway, they see the pictures, and those women don't look like models when they're just walking down the street.
Right.
You can't tell that, but for young women that say, oh, I want to be a size 2, I want to, you know, do all this different kind of things with my face, my body, but it's just kind of a trap because they're thinking, I want to look like that and I want to be that person. But that person doesn't look like that person once
That's
they
not
leave
the real
the studio.
person, right?
Right.
And they don't realize that they are actors. And
Right.
some commercials, they also will say that these are real people. These are not actors.
Right.
You know, because they get a testimony from a person. They want
Right.
people to think that there's someone is paid to say, hey, this product
Right.
is great.
Right. And that's,
Excuse
bless
me.
you. A couple weeks ago, Cindy Crawford did I think she was maybe just at home on the pool and she was just kind of laid out and she did like something of a shoot. And on the cover, she's not photoshopped, you know, she's like, this is all me. So it's nothing that's all, you know, tucked in together, you know, the pins and to keep you closed in and, you know, the makeup all over the body. I mean, she was just truly natural and she was beautiful.
Well, that's
what our young girls need to
Isn't that
know.
an important element involved there?
Yes.
Is a natural approach as much natural as I know they have scripts, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And well, what do they do when they have the scripts? they give it to you. They give you a certain amount of time to memorize it, or how does it work?
Well, for more like television shows or movies, that's different. Of course, they have to learn, they have to learn it and be able to deliver. But when you're the model, you're just kind of the space. But let's say if you get a job like as a hand model and you really have to talk about it, then, it's just practice. It's just, the practice makes perfect.
Don't they use
But
monitors?
Yes.
Sometimes, in the modeling, they use monitors for the model for instruction. I mean, physical. I think they say right turn or left turn or something like that. And
Yeah,
and
you kind of learn how to do all of that.
But the model
Right.
watches that because that real and they after they go through their motion and then they're told and is a timing involved and then they're
Right.
told to leave. After
Right.
they
You
hit a
have
certain
to-
point, after they
right.
take 2 or 3 turns or something like that, then they usually have a monitor of some kind to tell them to move on. Because I know on these shows, if you watch it, people have to stand in certain places so they be in
Right.
on the TV. You see the
Right.
host move over, come over this spot right here.
There's that spot. There's that line.
There's that line.
You have to
because-
stay in that
Yeah,
line.
you have to stay in that line. And a model really has to do that too because they're being reviewed, the area they're being reviewed in, they can't walk out of line. They have a certain territory that they
Right,
have to perform different things, like where we take it for granted, like you put your hand up to your head, to the side of your face, or turn to the right, or turn to the left,
Right. And you just have to learn it. If that's going to be your profession, you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Hey,
Which
say
is
that real.
number
Now,
one.
how do
you have to take care
how
of
do you do
yourself.
that? First
so
of
we
all,
need to talk about exercise and
Okay.
eating right and getting enough sleep. So, to look like that on the runway or in
you
television,
gotta keep it up,
that's
so-
number one. You have got to take care of yourself.
And taking
That's
care
number
of
one.
yourself includes a diet. There's certain
Diet,
foods.
workout,
Right.
definitely.
Diet and workout, not
Diet and
just the
workout.
diet. See?
Right.
And those are things that prepare you physically for that.
Right, right.
It's just like a athlete. He has to be in shape. Basketball, football player. So
There you go.
what?
And 24/7.
24. Well, what do you
Yeah.
in practice? How you go through a practice? What is required of you? You have to do 100 push-ups.
I think whatever works for you is fine. But but you
in
do.
class, when you're teaching class, you don't instruct them in certain parts of the body they want to increase or decrease or something like that, like the arms or parts of the legs or hips or.
Yeah, you want to be balanced, and so
Everything's balanced.
everything is balanced.
No,
From the head
everything in proportion.
to the bottom.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything.
But and whatever isn't, it's it's shopped, it's tucked and
Yeah.
and all of that to make it perfect.
And preparing these young ladies, they get instructions on how to pose. Most people think
Right.
that they can just put the hand on it and do one of those, and that's
No,
enough. But
it's all calculated.
Right.
Right, it's all
It's a
calculated.
profession, and
Yes.
and people
And
don't.
it's not an easy
Right.
one. There's a lot of heartache and heartbreak.
And then
that-
when they have to realize they're going to get a lot of negative things too.
Yes.
For instance, if they're posing with a dress or a bag or whatever, then they got to really get into the motion of it. And what I was saying, I was saying earlier that some of them probably have monitors because you can see that timing is involved because they go out
Well,
and they're
it's
there
it's
and they take 2 or 3 twirls and then boom,
right.
and then they're gone. You know?
Right, because you're going to look at the lights. You're working with the music.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
everything's different.
Yeah.
Everything is calculated. But for our young women, it's not real. They're selling you something, whether it's a dress or some face cream. So I want to make 2 points about young women. One, and you're talking about being a model. You want to be a model.
Yes.
Some young women are they're out, they're at a coffee shop or grocery store, any place, and they're just discovered. But what I think is good for young girls, if you go to a modeling school or an etiquette school, it really does a lot for your self-confidence, but you know how to do a place setting. You know how to, not just language, I mean, you do get some of that, but
When you
you
say
get more of
place
the,
setting, what do you explain?
oh, for like dinner, like
Okay.
a dinner place setting or,
Well, a lot of
yeah.
them probably don't know that formally. A
Formal, that's what I should say.
A formal
Formal.
place
So
setting.
yeah, so you learn how to do that. You learn just about anything that helps with etiquette. That's what
You have to study
that you
those
learn,
things, though.
right? You have to
Yeah.
study. You have to memorize it, and I think that's good for someone that maybe is being bullied, or they may worry about if they're smart enough, if they're pretty enough, if they're skinny enough. It's kind of a good way to combat that, and so you're confident and you draw good people to you. So when you're in that setting, you meet a lot of young women, and so you have friends, and you can kind of help one another on that journey.
So actually, what you're speaking about is a practice.
Yes.
And you have to be self-confident
Yes.
in your practice.
But you learn it. You have to learn it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. And you have to believe it.
Yeah, but I would think
Right.
too that you would get someone else that's interested in your practice, just like a football player, a basketball, they practice. You know,
Right.
you would have a practice,
Right.
and you get someone that's in the field, and you go and do your homework.
Right.
Basically, and what now? I've heard the pros and cons on size. Tell me about that. They say you hear some people say, well, the models are too thin or they're not realistic. What do you think about that?
Well, and that's what we were kind of talking about before. You see a model that's a 0 or a size 2. That's not realistic when most of the women in America are pretty much like a size 14.
14.
Really. But if you're a young girl and you're looking, I want to be, a size 2, then that's where we have the bulimia. You get that distorted image of what you want to look like. So you become anorexic, you become bulimic. And
Trying to keep the weight down.
trying to keep it down, and because you think that you're looking beautiful, or, well, you think you're not beautiful enough, that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough.
Right.
And
Confidence.
so, right, the confidence.
Well, how do you build confidence? How do young lady build confidence in herself? Some of them are very, very, very conscious of
Right.
not being pretty and not being
Right.
the right size and things of that nature.
Right, and well, the thing is that, like I said before, a model doesn't walk down the street looking like a model.
Right.
She's just your average woman. You see her in the grocery store, you don't go, oh my God, that's
That's a model.
that's a model, because it's all about the image that's being portrayed. But that's all it is. It's an image, and I'm selling you something. I'm selling you my designer bag or shoes or dress. I'm selling it. And really, when it comes down with the designers, they want you to focus on the clothes and not the model.
And not the model.
So, the model has, she's bringing it down the runway or on TV or in a studio. But the thing that most of us, we're focused on the model. And it's not really about the model, it's about what they're selling. But
But the creator, don't they get involved in that, in the modeling of style that a young lady has in order to hire them? You know, for instance, whatever product it is, they want it to look good, like you're saying, on a 14 or either a 12 or.
Right.
How does the person that how does the designer work with the model with that?
Well, you know, the designer has an idea of what he or she wants their clothing to look like.
Right.
And so, and we were talking about having people of color. A lot of times, the image doesn't match the clothing, and so, you know, a designer has to say, well, you know what, I only design for a size 2, or someone may say, well, you know, I'm just a plus size.
That's what I'm saying.
Designer.
Designer.
And so, you know, your body has to fit the clothing, but understanding that I'm not going to look just like the model looked on the runway in that clothing. Because one, it's going to be changed.
Yeah.
What we see on the runway is not what's going to hit the shelves.
Yeah.
So it's going to be different.
It's going to be different. Well, then when you were out there looking for a position, where would you look for young ladies want to get into the modeling field? I mean, how do you, as they say, sell yourself?
Well, the first thing you do is you get a headshot. And
photography
yep,
is
you get a headshot, and you just start going to the different agencies, just sending out your headshots.
Your headshot to the email, or what do you call that?
No,
Google?
you have to go. Yeah.
No.
Well, you go, but you can always. Well, you know what? These days, I don't know if you can do email or not.
Well,
but typically, you know, you would go to the agency and, you know, take your headshot, or I guess too, you could just mail them or whatever.
But you only take a headshot. You don't take a full body shot.
You can do that too.
But what is the best if you want to advertise being a model? Best procedure for doing it?
I think probably a headshot is
enough.
The best.
Is the facial, not the body style, is what sells.
Well, the body is important, but typically you want, like, let's say if I'm a model and I'm going to an agency, you know, I show up with no makeup because
no makeup.
This is what I'm going to look like when you actually do the shot.
Yeah.
But of course, it just depends on where you're going and what you want to do.
Yeah, because a person could be over made up, you know.
Right.
Have too much makeup, you know, mascara and or have the wrong combination. Now, since the headshot is so important, how important is it for the model to know about cosmetics so that they can blend their cosmetics in with the hue of their skin?
Well, you're just going to have a great makeup artist to do that. And, you know, you can go to like any MAC store and they will make you up. So you're just you're going to be working with a professional. Right, for your shows.
I would think you would say, well, I want a certain look.
Right.
You know, so I put more eyelash brows or
but, yeah, your makeup stylist is going to do that for you.
Yeah, they're going to do
so
it.
that you look really pretty.
What sell? A highly made up model, face. We're talking about face profile now, or one that has a natural look.
Right.
You know, doesn't have liners under the eyebrows and all that. You know, or eye shade and that type of thing. How would a young lady really be attractive?
Well,
is it based on the makeup artist that she has?
It's really the makeup artist. And
well, how do you pick a makeup artist? That's the key.
Like I said, you can just go to any MAC store and they will give you a great face, and you're just going about your way. But it is, you know, it's a process, and too, it depends on what look you're going for, like what model, like what do you want to be, you know, what are you
Well, do you
going
change
for?
your makeup based on what you're modeling? if you met modeling bathing suits, or you met
Right.
modeling what do you call it? A marriage, what do you call it? Marriage gown or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be professionally done. Once it's time for you to actually do your shoot, that's just professionally done. You don't have to do anything.
That they will do.
Yeah,
The
you don't
photographer takes over there. That's when.
Yeah, you don't have to do a thing. You just show up, and it really, when someone says a natural look, it can take about 2 hours for you to look natural.
2 hours. Is that right?
So what we see, what we see is not real, because
Yeah.
I look natural, but it's taken you 2 hours
2
for me to
hours
look
for the
like
makeup.
that.
Right.
Right.
But as far as getting the body, is there a special reason why you would? I would say, whatever you're modeling, you look at it and for yourself. If some dresses you don't like a way to cut high of around the bosom or low. How do you?
You don't have a choice.
Oh, you don't have a
you're
choice.
You're gonna wear what the designer wears. You're gonna do what the makeup artist is. You don't have a choice. You just show up and you're working. You are a professional. So you show up and you're just a professional.
Well, how do you practice for something like? Is such thing as practice? You practice with your mom or somebody?
Anybody. Anybody. You can practice with anybody.
The idea, what about your credentials? The fact that you've been to modeling school, are those important too?
And you don't have to. I mean,
You don't have to go to modeling
You don't have
school.
to go to modeling school.
Okay.
But I think if you go to like a modeling or a finishing school, I think you have more confidence. But I think it just depends on the person.
And what about contacts? Usually, if you go to modeling school or places like that, they have contacts that they can let you know a certain, because the manufacturer or people, designers, they're looking for models.
Right. And so you may have to have an agent. If you're just starting, you just kind of have to work your way through it.
Where would you start? I mean,
well, now you can Google everything.
You start. Oh, Google. Well, that's my favorite. Yeah.
I know that's your favorite.
Favorite is Google anything, boy.
And my dad too. Everything, Google it.
Yeah, Google it, boy. That's it. That's got to be it. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I haven't been in that industry in a long time, so.
I know,
I'm
but
speaking from 20 years experience.
You know
back
about
then.
the industry enough to know to be a professor at. You know what you shouldn't, and this is what the young ladies need. They need guidance.
Yes.
Like that, so they know
Yes.
that the types of things that they are doing if they're going to get in, whether it's a weight gain or whether they have to build up their different parts of the body or lose some of it, But in other words, they need the guidelines, and that's so important. A lot of young ladies, they don't know the proper way, and just like you mentioned, table setting. Who would think that table setting would be one of the factors that a model should know about?
Well, it's just not just for the models, but let's say if you're for young women and men too, I don't think we focus as much now on etiquette as we used to, because everything is so casual, so laid back.
Yeah.
And so that kind of makes a difference. But at least you know how to do it.
Right.
If you're going to have a formal setting at home, you know how to do it.
Now, we got a good lesson there. All you young ladies out there, you want to be a model. I want to see you on TV, on these commercials and all. You can do it. All you have to do is just listen to Mrs. Holland here, Mrs. Richmond, I mean. Mrs. Richmond, she's been through it, and she's had all kinds of things. But, hey, this has been Ed Brown. Hey, don't forget unity in the community and protecting young and innocent young children from child abuse. Hey, we're coming up with that this month.